Today on Near Mint Condition, Autobots wage their battle to destroy evil
Stop.
forces.
Today, we're going to talk about Dan's dolls, the Toyfair, and figure collecting.
They're masterpiece Transformers. They're Japanese. They're really expensive.
They're dolls, Dan.
Dan, what would you like to say about toys since you brought us some of your toys?
Toys. So, fairly recently, Toyfair, which is the trade show, basically the buyer's show for toys.
That's the worst name for a fair ever that sells toys.
You think?
Toy Fair.
If you were a kid and you read Toy Fair, you'd be like, Mom, can we go to the Toy Fair?
And the answer is no. No, you can't, because it's just for the Walmart buyer.
You're not a media.
No, I did Toyfair, 5 times?
Yeah, you went a lot.
Yeah, five times.
You
back
represent it.
Cool.
Yeah, back in my Dragon Ball Z days.
See, we both used to write articles for magazines.
Yeah.
And we
about
both
Dragon
had
Ball
the
Z.
podcast. That's how it all got started. You did Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. So I went to 5 toy fairs. It's basically like a trade show for what the toy companies plan to come out with. And if they can sell it to Walmart, they'll make it. Which is basically how it's come down to.
They usually kick everybody out when Walmart comes in.
Oh,
right?
yes. Yeah, I've been kicked out for Walmart before.
Do you know how white trashy you have to be for Walmart to come in and go, get the fuck out, scum?
Oh, no. It's not even that. It's we want you out before Walmart gets here.
My goodness.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you not have on like shoes or something?
I had on a tie.
They could PJ
see.
bottoms, a cigarette.
I feel like the Walmart buyer could have come in and just, literally been just butt naked. What are they going to do? But anyway, so it was a couple of weeks ago, and specifically, the only thing that I saw that I really looked at was the Transformers stuff, and
that's all I noticed too.
Yeah, and so what they're doing now is taking the 80s Transformers that we grew up with, and
also known as the only actual version of Optimus Prime.
Boo.
Oh.
False, sir.
And
look at the superior version in front of you.
So this guy over here, this is Masterpiece Optimus Prime. This is actually the second version of Masterpiece Optimus Prime. This is the Japanese version. Omar has the American version, same mold.
I like to support our American jobs here.
That's right.
Beautiful.
And so what they're doing is basically, instead of... They've branched it out into 2 different lines. You have a kids line that's new fiction, new characters. But really, who cares about that?
Is this like
You've
more
got
of the kids line
Robots
right
in
here?
the Sky.
No, actually, that is a separate thing. That's a model kit.
That thing's more expensive than the new kid lines. The new kid lines is Robots in the Skies, based on the cartoon. The cartoon isn't bad. Bumblebee's like the leader.
What's the name of the cartoon? What's the subtitle?
Robots in the Skies.
So is it like the CG now, or?
No,
well,
I think this...
No, it's not CG. It's animated, but, of course, every animation now uses CG.
Yeah.
Every animation.
Yeah.
Come on, Grim. You're the muscle.
But so what they're doing is both with the consumer level lines and the collector level lines. So like this is something you would find at retail in Walmart. This is the new Bruticus. I'm gonna knock him over here.
Combiner Wars.
Combiner Wars. Yeah. So this is, and for comparison, here is the old Bruticus, who is half the size. And
yeah, there's a big difference. My cousin is way into Transformers. I was when I was a kid, but I haven't picked up any new things other than giant on Optimus Prime. And he was like, hey, what should I get? And there's like Galvatron and a Megatron and an Optimus Prime. And of course, in my head, I'm thinking, dude, you got to get Galvatron and Optimus Prime. But I don't know what he went with. But yeah, like the difference between these two, like this is what I remember on TV, and this is what I remember playing with.
Right.
Actually getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the articulation, the way they look, that's a beast compared to that thing that actually looks like it walks like a robot.
This one that Tina's holding is retail level. Each of the limbs is like $15. The center guy's $25. This masterpiece line, this is a $200 figure.
What?
Yeah, it's nuts.
The big one that I bought was $90. So my 90 one that's this tall costs half as much as this one.
You're talking about the original masterpiece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they've gotten better, and of course things have gone up. Like with everything, video games and
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean
video games usually.
Now, does this
Gone up
take
about
20
$10.
minutes to transform?
yes,
Perfect.
just
Okay,
about.
that's what I was gonna ask. Do they still transform? Because this guy,
No, that's not a transformer.
No.
That's
no,
just
I don't care. He's like transform. He's Optimus Prime. He should transform. Like the Toy
Or you should buy a truck. Or he should come with the truck and himself.
He did come with the tiny little truck.
Okay.
Okay.
So I got a confession to make. I love collecting giant robots and transformers.
I can
No.
tell.
Obviously,
Giant robots are dumb.
I fucking hate transforming them. I hate even as a kid, I remember going, "Why can't these things just come as robots?" Because I never played with the truck version of Optimus, right? 'Cause
Really?
Really?
That's a Tonka. Like, why would I play? I always
Because
played
he
with
turns into a robot.
Because that is how you stop time as a
was to
kid.
transform
I get it,
him.
but I didn't get. See, I grew up like when I didn't have Optimus. I made my own Optimus out of corn husks. So, like when
I
I
did
finally,
too. I made out of raisin boxes. That's
okay,
absolutely
so
true.
like
in Peru, we made our
we
transformers.
made everything out of corn husks.
That was
So like
alpaca.
when I finally got him, I was a little bit
Corn husks.
older, and even as I was older, I was getting frustrated with the transformation.
Autobots, transform!
So even these, like especially the new ones, like Dan, like the masterpiece ones or the combiner ones or the third-party ones that we have back here, I'm like, man, I really wish I could pay somebody money to come to my house and make this into a robot, so I don't cut my fucking hands on this, or like, because some of these pieces are so hard to transform, like. I'm like, it's either going to be me or him. I'm either going to break my fucking hand or I'm going to break his arm.
Well, let's talk about the youth, because you are part of the problem now. Now, no. Now, my cousin-in-law, since my children are 1 and 3, so they're not into this stuff quite yet. Quite yet.
They could
My
be.
son
They will
is
be.
7 and he's not into this stuff, and it breaks my heart.
Just time. So he comes over and he has these transformers, and they look like, metal just shit and glue all over the place. But they take 2 seconds to transform. He's like, look, Uncle Rob, I transformed. Done. That is not a transformer.
That's a GoBot.
This is
Beast one.
Lion Bot. This is what's wrong with the youth today. It's too easy to transform their transformers. You need some shit that take an hour and a half to transform.
Yeah, but that's the difference between a $200 toy and one that's
Okay.
like $9.
So this takes 5 minutes to transform if
No.
you're like 7.
That
And
takes
this is
about
what you give
4
to your mom and
seconds to
dad. Like,
transform.
Mom, I want to play with the truck. And the mom's like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, but he was so sturdy, like, actually.
Look. It still works. Look at this. Magic. Mine doesn't do that.
And that's the difference, like, so those are more for, like,
Collectors. Super
kids
nerds.
that grew up and had jobs
Yeah.
and can afford these fucking
See, and
things.
speaking of, so for instance, like this guy, this Bruticus, the center part is a guy Onslaught, the $30 $25 guy, in the torso.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
All from
so
the head.
I have yet to see that at a retail
Okay.
show, and the problem is that because he's in wave 4 of this line, the problem is you get all these shelves filled with, just the first few lines, and then the places just don't order. They don't order the rest of them, so
Well, how are
they
you
just never
supposed to
get them
complete
in.
the thing?
And it's infuriating, and it really has kind of made this hobby
That's-
a lot less fun.
I remember telling Rob, texting him, like, this is who's going to be rare in the Amiibos, just because from toy hunting,
Yeah.
you get used to it. If you see 30 Marios, 15 Princess Peaches, you see 3 Wig Fit trainers, 2
2 villagers.
villagers, and 1 Marth, or you never see a Marth out in the wild. I
Yeah.
texted him, like, these guys are going to be rare. Like,
And
seriously.
I'm
rare.
listening, and I'm like, I get this message. I'm like, he's an idiot. And like, my kid was with me at Toys R Us. She kicked a villager because she was like, oh look, Daddy's a villager. Kick, and like, I'm thinking like, why didn't I grab him then? Because what I had to do, I've never paid more than what they cost for any of these things. But like on Black Friday, there was 1 villager sitting there at a Walmart, and you should have seen me push and shove people to go. trying to get
Because
Marth.
that thing was going for about $90.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
was Marth. Marth was going for about 90 to 100.
Marth, I was in Austin, Texas, and a store claimed they were getting it for, and I called this store on the hour to try and get this thing, and I ended up missing it. But like Amazon had like a window, you know, when Amazon get things in stock, it's like 2 minutes,
10-second window.
like,
10
and I was
second window.
like I had walked from the mailbox to my front door, like, oh, I'll push the button, disappeared just like that. But like 5 minutes later,
Oh yeah, I built a scraper at one point for Amazon and Hasbro Toy Shop for trying to figure out when they got these things in to get that window. I would get a text message, like it would check every 3 minutes and send me a
I
text.
had to do that with Amiibo too.
Yeah.
So like you guys' toy struggle is newer to me, but I understand where you're coming from. And like it used to be fun, and that was pain. And it's kind of gone
Yeah,
back and
it
forth.
does.
It's gone
It does.
back
It
and
very
forth.
much goes in waves.
Like, because it becomes like the Amiibo thing. I think it's gotten, you know,
I think
kind of calm. The
it's
water's
not
been
as
calmer.
bad.
It's not as bad, but there's always going to be a Fire Emblem or something to search after.
Yeah, let's talk about that another time where I can my rage.
Thanks for watching Near Mint Condition today and listening to Dan talk about his dolls.
Hey!
If you like, please subscribe, follow us on Facebook and Twitter where Dan posts his dollies.
Hey!
Thanks, guys.
That's a very good question. Today, in fact, it's all about my shit. Finally!
Shit, your dolls.
Not actually my shit!